Butler Arts Center's Clues Memorial Hall. Pleasure to have you all here. We do have some additional seats here in the front, at tables, as well as some still on the sides. And as more people keep coming in, we'll have some standing room in the back. But I want to get things going, and just a real quick reminder, if any of you students that are here are in the Music in Action class and haven't yet signed in, your sign-in sheets are over here next to the door you entered. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our pre-performance presenter and just Taiko rock star here. I just love her. So take it away, Childs-Helton. Thank you.
James, can you do whatever magic thing you need to do to flip this over?
Yes.
So the magic thing has happened. I am an ethnomusicologist. I am also a classically trained percussionist, and I've been studying world percussion with as many teachers as will have me. So I've trained a little bit of Taiko. I've trained a whole lot, mostly of West African drumming. I play Latin percussion, Middle Eastern percussion, Irish percussion. I play Bowen and things like that. So what I'm offering you tonight is not coming from me as a master player or teacher of Taiko, believe me. But what I would like to do is introduce you to this incredible art form. And it literally has become a world music since about 1950. And I think today it's hard to sort of go through your life and not have or not hear Taiko in some way. So how many of you have seen Taiko before? Some folks. How many of you have played Taiko before? Woohoo! Okay. How many of you practice martial arts? Or practice martial arts? So you're going to see some familiar things. How many of you are drummers or percussionists? Okay. And how many of you have been to Japan? Excellent. So all of you, so many of you have already had some brush with Taiko or with Taiko culture in some way. So a little bit about Taiko. So Taiko refers to Japanese drums and the music played on those drums. Kumidaiko is the term that's used to describe the modern Taiko ensemble. Taiko is different from many different kinds of drumming because it involves choreographed movements and stances beyond what's necessary to play drums. It can also include dance and acrobatics. And the Kumidaiko also includes instruments other than drums. It includes strings, winds, and the human voice, and you're going to hear all of those tonight. So Taiko is known in the written record back to about the 6th century, but it's been around for at least 2,000 years because, again, in many cultures, drums are among the first instruments that a culture develops. Drums and drumming styles in Japan are very similar to those in China and Korea. They all came pretty much from the same source. So when you see Taiko, and if you have a chance to see Chinese or Korean drumming, you're going to notice a lot of similarities. And according to folklore, the boundaries of a village were set by the distance that you could hear the Taiko. So when you could no longer hear the Taiko in the center of the square, you were out of the village. So a little more history. In 1702, the Japanese government founded a Department of Imperial Music, and the court music that it covered was one of the roots of modern Taiko today. Drums were used in court music, they were used in theater and in dance, they were used in Buddhist and Shinto temples and shrines, they were used heavily in village festivals, and they were also used in the military. And there's some incredible images of people going into battle with Taiko strapped on their back and a drummer following them. So the person carrying the Taiko is armed, and then a person is following them with drumsticks. A little bit about modern Taiko. The idea of Kumidaiko, of the modern Taiko ensemble, dates from after World War II. There was a Japanese jazz drummer named And he is considered the father of Kumidaiko style. So in 1951, he was given some old Taiko sheet music and was asked to transcribe it. And with some help actually interpreting it, he was able to take the piece, and he divided it up into multiple parts with each player playing a different voiced drum. So he had high, medium, and low drums. So he was replicating the drum set using the Taiko. And in the 1950s and 60s, Taiko really began to grow in Japan, again around this new Daiko style. And it really took off in 1964 during the Tokyo Olympic Games, where a Taiko group performed, and this really did help to increase the awareness of Taiko not only in Japan but in the rest of the world. The Taiko group Za Ondekoza, and I just slaughtered that, was founded in 1969. The group astounded everybody when they ran the Boston Marathon and then played a Taiko concert. So these folks, in their training, they got up every morning and basically ran a marathon before breakfast. Then they started training. So stamina and strength and flexibility were all built in. So in 1981, Za Ondekoza split into the new group and Kodo. And Kodo has gone on to become probably the most famous Taiko group in the world today. The video you were watching when you came in was from Kodo. And there are now many professional and community and school Taiko groups around the world. There's an estimated 4,000 to 5,000 Taiko groups in Japan alone. And since 2002, Taiko has been taught there in the public schools. Taiko in the United States, obviously, it came in with the first wave of Japanese immigrants in the early 20th century. And again, drums were used in temples and for traditional festivals, as they had been used for several thousand years. During World War II, Japanese Americans were put into internment camps, and this really crushed Japanese culture in the United States. After the war, Japanese Americans just tried to fit in, and they really did not practice much of Japanese culture at all, including Taiko. So in the 1960s, with the civil rights movement, this really encouraged many Japanese Americans to reclaim their culture, and with it, they reclaimed Taiko. So in 1968, Seiichi Tanaka, who had been a Gucci student, founded the San Francisco Taiko Dojo, and that was the first Taiko dojo in the United States and is still one of the finest. Kanara Taiko was founded in 1969, and San Jose Taiko was founded in 1973. All of these are still going strong. If you've ever had a chance to see them, please do. So these early groups were mostly Japanese and Japanese Americans. But time has gone on, and today Taiko is played by absolutely everybody. Today there are probably 100 plus Taiko dojos around the United States, and 600 in the United States. She knows. I will introduce her in a moment. So, and these are what? These are community groups. They're in schools, they're in universities, they're professional groups. So in North America, somebody needs to update some research, so thank you for that. So again, Taiko is being played by men, by women, by people of all racial backgrounds. Any way that you can cut a population, people are playing Taiko. There are Taiko groups also in Australia, in Europe, in South America, and many other countries in the world, making Taiko truly a world music. And I find it fascinating that Taiko groups in Brazil are mixing Taiko with West African percussion, because both of them like big drums. And I really, really, truly would love to see one of these groups perform. So Taiko continues to grow and change, and it's been inspired by world and popular music, dance, and theater. Kodo continues to be the most famous professional Taiko group, but there are other groups out there, including the Dao Drum, who you're going to see tonight, and the On Ensemble based out of the United States. Taiko is heard everywhere. It's in TV and movie soundtracks. Cirque du Soleil has been featuring Kodo in many of its more recent shows. So you've heard Taiko. You may not know it, but you've heard it. This is one of my favorite pictures. This is Michelle Obama with a Japanese high school taiko group. And this photograph shows me everybody plays taiko across generations, across racial boundaries. Everybody plays taiko. A little bit about the instruments. There are two basic drum styles. One is considered drums that have the heads nailed on, so the skin heads are attached by nails. And there's also rope or tension heads that are called shime-daiko. These drums vary in size, in length, and in depth, but they're usually always some variation on a barrel-shaped drum, which are the nailed-on heads, and a cylinder shape, and these tend to be the rope-tuned ones. Also, the hourglass drums that are called sutsumi are also rope-tuned, and you're going to see all of this tonight. So here's a picture. The barrel-shaped drum is sort of the medium-sized taiko. It's called chudaiko, and the second one is a rope tension, and that's a shime-daiko. And here's the o-daiko. This is the big drum. And the size of these drums is only limited by the size of the tree and the size of the bull. So getting skins for these drums, you can imagine, but some of these drums literally are about as tall as a human being. So some of these drums are absolutely enormous. So traditionally, especially the barrel-shaped drums are carved out of a single tree trunk, but because of a shortage of really large trees, people have started making them out of barrel-stave construction, which is also lighter than solid drums. And a lot of dojos now are making their drums out of wine barrels. You've got a barrel, you get a skin, you get a bunch of nails, and spend a whole lot of time, and eventually, these can turn out some really decent sounding drums. The drums are commonly headed with cow or water buffalo hides, and depending again on the drum and the size, horse and deer have also been used. And the inside of the drum is often carved in various designs that alters the tone of the drum. And some of these designs are absolutely gorgeous, and many people consider the inside of the drum to be the most beautiful part. And here is one of those carving patterns. So if you just look up taiko interior carving or something like that, you'll get a boatload of these pictures, and they're all just stunning. So again, tonight you're going to see some string instruments. And koto is a large zither instrument, and it's about 6 feet long, and I believe they have 3 tonight that you'll be hearing. Shamisen is a 3-string long neck lute, and the head is usually has a stretched skin on it, so it's a banjo equivalent, and you're going to hear it. It's played with a large plectrum. And traditional flutes are made of bamboo and of wood, and you're going to also hear these tonight. And these are very, very lovely. They're played by themselves. They're also played over the top of the drums because they're much higher and the sound carries. So learning taiko. Taiko is taught in taiko dojos or schools, and even though pieces are written down or can be written down, almost all of them are learned orally and orally. So by speaking rhythms and then repeating rhythms. The sticks are called bachi, and the size and the length and the weight of the sticks all depends on the drum that you're striking. Drums are played at different angles and heights, depending on the kind of drum and the playing style used. So again, you're going to see a lot of differences in this tonight, and also various stances. Many of them are based on martial arts stances for strength and for stability. This is a picture of a family taiko workshop in Australia, and here you'll see the chudaiko, the barrel-shaped drums, and also the rope-tuned drums, the shime-daiko. a little bit about Japanese drum language, because we're going to learn this in just a minute. Every culture that has drums has drum language. And if I'm talking to a drummer, if I'm talking to a drum set drummer, and I say, do, do, jack it, do, jack it, tack it, do, do, they will immediately play it. If I say, every culture has got its own drum language. And in Japan, this is called kuchishoga. So don is the sound that's made when you strike the drum right in the center. Ka is a sharp sound that's played on the edge of the drum. Su is a soft sound played in the center of the drum. And su is a rest. So we're going to be using some of these sounds. So what to look for tonight? Many different kinds of drums. You'll see drums played at different angles and different heights. You'll see a lot of different stances, elaborate choreography, dance, acrobatics. I even saw hoverboards on stage during warm-ups. I'm excited to see how they managed to work that in. You will see traditional and non-traditional costumes. You will hear calls and shouts. These are called kiai or kakegoi, and these show spirit, and they also can be used by the drummers to signal things to each other. Often things like, we're moving from this pattern to the next pattern, or this section of the piece to the next section. And you're also going to hear wind and string instruments and also singing. So there's a section that that includes all voice. It's very, very cool, and that's the one with the hoverboards. So voice and hoverboards, who would have thought at a Taiko concert. So now we're going to learn a piece, and this piece we're going to start using some of the Japanese drum language. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say each line, and then I would like for you to repeat it after me. And the height is our kiai that shows our spirit. So when you get to the height, I want you to go, height! You do not kiai in the microphones. Not a good idea. So here we go. So here's our first line. I'm going to say it, and then you're going to speak it back. And it goes like this. Don, doro, don, don. Doro, doro, don. Hey! Don, doro, don, don. Doro, doro, don. Hey! Don, 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 don. Hey!
Dun 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 dun.
Hey! Don, doro, don, 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 don. Hey!
Dun doro dun 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 dun. Hey!
Don, 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 don. Doro, doro, don. Hey!
Dun 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 doro doro dun. Hey!
Now can we do the whole thing? Yes, we can. So, door for nothing. Ni, san, shi. Don, doro, don, don. Doro, doro, don. Hey! Don, 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 don. Hey! Don, doro, don, don. Doro, doro, don. Hey! Don, 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 don. Doro, doro, don. Hey! You got it. Now we're going to play it. So because we don't have all night to learn this piece, in fact we have 10 minutes to learn this, here is a set of words that you can remember. Probably much easier than don, don, doro, 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 don. I learned this from my 4-year-old nephews. So this is what we're going to say. And repeat after me. Again, we're going to do the same thing. 5 little monkeys jumping on the bed. Hey! 5 little
Monkeys jumping on the bed.
Hey! One fell off and hurt his head. Hey!
One fell off and hurt his head. Hey!
Called for the doctor. Doctor said. Hey!
Called for the doctor. Doctor said.
Hey! No more monkeys jumping on the bed. Hey!
No more monkeys jumping on the bed. Hey!
We got that, right? Okay, now, I want you to play this on your legs or on the table. And the sticking or the handing for this, the first line, we're going to go right, left, right, left, right, left, right. So it's going to look like this. So it's going to go right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Hey! Second line. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Hey! Third line. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Hey! Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Hey! So two places you do double rights. The very beginning on 5 little, and then called for the, so right, left, dot, for, dot, verse. Everything else alternates right and left. If you get messed up, don't worry about it. The main thing is when you get to the height, it's height. So, I need 20 people up here behind these chairs. 20. 20 These are my favorite things in the whole world, and I wish I'd invented them because I could have retired about 10 years ago. But music educators, if you work with kids, if you have kids, if you still act like a child, you need boom whackers. So, we're going to learn this piece, and please play it and say it with them. So here we go. We're going to play, we're going to do this call and response. So we're going to say the first line, play the first line. Say the first line, play the first line. What you want to do, these are your sticks, these are your bocce. We have real taiko players here. But taiko is here, the strike is here, you come up, it's up and down by your ear in this strike. So it's not swimming. Taiko is here. The taiko is here. So do the best you can. We're going to take our sticks and we're going to put them straight up. Good straight line, elbows, good straight line. So it's going to look like this. It's going to look like this. 5. Hey! Okay? Taiko to stand. They are our closest Taiko dojo. Allison Ballard is their teacher. Allison trains with San Francisco Taiko Dojo and other master teachers around the country and the world. They've been to Japan for some times to train. So they're serious, and they do great work, and they do very fun stuff. And they have a very special artist in residence with them, and I'll let Allison introduce her.
We are very blessed to work with some really great Taiko drummers. Own Ensemble are some of our mentors, and Shoji Kameda and Maz Baba. And we have with us, just happened to have with us this weekend, Tiffany Tomariguchi, who is an internationally renowned female Taiko drummer, which we really love. And she's especially known for her work on the Odaiko, that great big drum.